Hey everyone, welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 204 entitled Indie World and Play NYC Recap. We're going to be talking a lot about the Indie World Showcase, of course, the Play NYC 2020 that happened just a couple weeks ago. And it was actually last week, and then we're gonna, a lot of other news and rumors and stuff like that we're going to be talking about tonight. My name is Steve. I am also joined by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey Steve, always a pleasure.
Sure. And also joined by Greg, too. Hey, Greg.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Love talking games with you guys.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, we do love talking games with you guys. And so if you are joining us in the chat, be sure to toss any of your ideas, your opinions, your thoughts, or anything like that about the stuff that we talk about. We'd love to know all of your thoughts and opinions and everything as well in the live chat. But if you are watching this after the fact, feel free to use that comment section here on YouTube as well. If you are watching or listening on your podcast app, if you're just listening to the audio version, thank you guys for joining in as well. You can also join in the conversation either on our social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and also Twitter, and just at NintendoFuse. But you can also join our Discord, and that link is in the description down below, and also in the podcast show notes. We would love for you guys to join our Discord and continue to join in that conversation between the episodes. Throw us all those different ideas that you guys have, thoughts and opinions and everything. We love interacting with you guys. Speaking of which, Mike is already in the chat saying he demands party hats. I'm not really sure why he wants party hats, but he's demanding them. I don't have any. Sorry, Mike. Greg, Barry, you guys got any party hats?
Don't think you have a party.
No,
hat.
not handy.
Sorry, Mike. Maybe next time. Probably not. But let's join in our discussion as we normally do and discuss what we've been playing lately before we jump into any of the news and all that stuff. So we'll go to Greg first this time. Greg, what have you been playing lately?
Well, this was a much slower 2 weeks than normal, so I just had time for Animal Crossing, and I did play a few more levels in Dodo Peak because that was a lot of fun and enjoying just picking up a few additional levels here and there just to unlock a few more things. So also on the mobile side, still doing Fire Emblem Heroes. The CYL stuff just launched today, so it's a brand new summon event for like the 3 Houses heroes that got their Brave editions, and that means Gen 5 for BST and all those other power creep stuff that everybody likes to talk about. So yeah.
Nice. Yes, Dodo Peak. Have you checked the leaderboard yet on the first 10?
No, not. I didn't check that the last time I was in, but I'm guessing Steve's.
I am creeping up there. I'm actually like, yeah. The last time I checked, I haven't played it in a few days, but I was in the top. I think I'm in the top 10 on all the first 10 levels.
Nice.
Overall.
Top 10 worldwide?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I haven't unlocked the golden bird yet, so I could still get faster. But anyway, I'll talk about that in just a second. Barry, what have you been up to lately?
Well, I'm really glad to hear you guys are enjoying Dodo Peak. I have not had the time to go back to it because I've really been busy with a lot of other games. So I'm still doing Animal Crossing, but I just finished getting the Last of the Mermaid DIYs. So I'm done swimming until the first of the month. So thank God. I don't have to play that every day. I can just relax. So that's cool. Paper Mario. I have completed Paper Mario and the Origami King, and had a lot of fun with that. And just seeing that transition from my initial reaction where I was like, this sucks, this battle system's terrible. I'm still not a fan of the battle system, but the rest of the game, top notch. Totally, I love that game at this point. Like, it's so weird how it transitioned. But then I've been playing some smaller stuff after doing Paper Mario. I'm like, I want to do some smaller stuff. So one thing I've been playing is Super Blood Hockey, which we'll talk a little bit about later, which is a lot of fun, old school ice hockey NES, Blades of Steel NES style hockey game with a lot of blood where you can, not only, start fights and have a whole team brawl instead of a one-on-one. But you could do like a franchise mode where you could actually train your players and do workout in the gym, but they could still get like injured in the gym. So like it's very realistic for that type of game, but it's a lot of fun. Also, I've been playing for my $100 challenge on the Playcast. I started Motor Rush GT, which was a game I'm like, I'm probably not gonna like, and I was surprised. It's a first-person motorcycle game, but it's like an old-school arcade style, like Arctic Thunder, almost like where you would have the actual motorcycle and you would sit, and it actually uses tilt. It even uses the Labo tilt with the wheel with the motorcycle thing, which really threw me for a loop. But you can turn that off. So I decided to start Cat Quest because I've heard enough good things, and I played through and beat Cat Quest 1 in probably about 6 hours or so. I had a lot of fun with it. Didn't 100% it, but I really had a lot of fun with it. So now I'm about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway through Cat Quest 2. Really enjoying them. Definitely better than I thought. And if you like Zelda style, if you like RPG elements, if you like a little Diablo, I highly recommend it. It's just so cute. Everything's a cat pun or a dog pun. Really well written and really, really adorable. And then there was a sale where if you downloaded a coloring book, you got like 6 games for free. So I did that, and I was playing one of them, Not a Brainbuster, which was surprisingly entertaining. Nice. I was like, this game is going to be like nothing, and I wound up playing it for like an hour and a half. Like, wow, this game, it's just a cube, and it just gives you directions, left, right, up, down. Simple, go in those directions, but then it starts doing like not left, or nothing, or not nothing, or not left, and then it starts adding colors where all 4 sides are colors, red, not red. Then it starts adding like blue and up, and it's like, wait, hold on, so it starts getting crazy, and you have to do like 20, 30, 40 times in a row. Very, very simple, very, very easy in terms of design, but surprisingly difficult in execution. And it's one of those, so close, I'm going to get it this time.
Nice.
Really enjoyed that game, and for free, I'm like, okay, well worth it. On the PS4, I decided to start Dragon's Crown Pro. I'd love to see it come to the Switch, but I'm not sure if I'm actually going to complete it because I've been just having fun with Cat Quest. But it is a good game, Vanillaware. PC, I've been still doing 14. In fact, we finally got a patch after what feels like 5 months. We finally got an update patch, new story, new raids, new content. The game is beautiful and amazing. And, I kind of hate that I'm done with everything in the game because it's like there's nothing for me to play. But when new content's there, I'm right there. And speaking of new content, I'm still doing Dragalia. New content dropped today, new chapter of the story, which honestly threw everything for a loop. And I really want to see Nintendo take this further with side games. I really want to see characters start going to Smash. They're doing some pretty incredible stuff with the story, and it's way deeper than I think any mobile game should probably be. And I'm still doing Mario Kart Tour, of course. Just having fun with it.
Nice. That's cool that they're still like. I've never played, really gotten Dragalia, but it's so cool to hear that they're really adding a lot to it, which does intrigue me. I wonder where they are taking that in the future, because it seems like it's just they're happy with it being just mobile, but where could that go? Like you said, with Smash or with a mainline game on the console, that'd be interesting.
I mean, it's definitely not making the money it was initially, and obviously, especially with COVID, a lot of things aren't making as much, and mobile games I think are down across the board because people aren't out, people are home. So it shows, the newer events don't always have voice acting, whereas the older ones do. But the mainline story is great, and they're repeating right now they're repeating last summer's event. They're definitely doing that to pad, but even when they repeat, they add new things. They add this facility can go up higher. Oh, we've added a new difficulty. So at least the returning players can be plus you still get all the rewards. So it's not like, I've done that, I already have all the rewards, what's the point of me doing it? It's no, you can earn all the rewards again. So, it's nice because it allows you to do something and still constantly progress. And I think they've done a great job. And honestly, I think if more people gave it a chance and played the story, the story is very, very good, and it's very free-to-play, casual-oriented. And I'd like to see Nintendo put a main line on the Switch. I think they can do something with these characters. I just hate to see them just drop it. Nintendo is known for dropping IP certain IP and never touching it. I mean, we haven't had a Star Tropics game since the NES, and Mach Rider the NES, and you know, where's F-Zero been since the GameCube and the GBA, and you know, like there's so many IP that they haven't done anything with. Kid Icarus they finally brought back and then dropped again.
Right, and Jakester's going to bring up Mother, I'm sure. So.
Oh yeah, Mother, another, of course, Mother, absolutely, and Golden Sun. If you want to go back to RPG, is Golden Sun hasn't been there since the DS. There's so many. Pilot Wings was at the launch of 3DS on its third entry and then disappeared. That was an SNES launch title, and N64. That was a title they've launched 2 of their systems with. And well, 3 of them. 3DS launched with it as well. But where is it now? Why isn't it on the Switch? That would be a great Switch title. So yeah, there's I just hope they just don't leave this. I think it's actually more important for Smash because it is their only IP for mobile that is unique and exclusive and started as mobile. Every other IP that they brought to mobile has started elsewhere, and especially with Smash being a celebration of all Nintendo, and they've got like, oh, these characters started with the NES and these SNES, and they've even highlighted that in events. How about their first ever mobile IP? Let's get some representation in there.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's probably actually if they've kind of forgot about all those other ones, I don't know if I'm holding out any hope for Takali or not. But we'll see.
That's the stuff thing. At least it's still new content, so they haven't ended the game.
That's for sure. Speaking of Jakester, he says, I've only been really playing Fate Grand Order and Tetris 99, but he did touch Animal Crossing after a while. And yeah, so be sure to let us know what you guys have been playing in the chat or after the fact in the comments as well. Yeah, I've been playing, of course, a little bit of Rocket League. My quest for like changing up my control scheme has been exciting because I feel like I've gotten to a point where I know what I'm doing now with the new control scheme and everything. So I went back to like 2s, and I've been playing a lot of 2v2 recently and trying to get that level up to where my 3v3 level is. But really excited about the new cross-platform save system and all the stuff that they're going to be bringing to the game really soon. They just said, I think, at the end of the summer. So maybe at the end of this month, we're not sure, but it's going to be where you can actually take your items and your progress and everything from one system and save it to your account and actually be able to access that same progress and items and all that stuff from another account. So if I play at my Switch, then I can jump on my Xbox, my PS4. If I end up getting it for PC at some point, I could just always be on my same account the whole time instead of having 3 different accounts like I do right now, which is ridiculous. So you essentially will just pick your primary account, and then everything else will kind of synchronize into that. So I'm really excited about that update that's supposed to be here at the end of the summer. And then playing Animal Crossing, not really doing a whole lot. I'm just kind of doing the daily, grind, which is nice. It's like, I can get on there for 30 minutes or less and do what I want to do every day. I'm not collecting everything like you guys are, so it helps to like limit my time on it every day. If I was, having to swim and pick up everything, it'd be a different story. What was that?
Remember DIY every day with the Pascal, getting a scallop every day?
Nope. Nope. I'm just going and getting my like digging up all the, what's it called? I'm blanking. That's awful. The dinosaur bones and stuff.
Oh, the fossils.
Fossils. Oh gosh, this is going to be an interesting podcast if I can't remember the word fossils. But yeah, doing that and getting my money trees and selling things and stuff like that. So I'm essentially making like, I think 100,000 bells a day and just depositing it in the account and just letting it sit there, and eventually I'll do some extra stuff and everything. But yeah, right now I'm kind of just in maintenance mode for that. And yeah, so I've been playing some Dodo Peak. Went ahead and went back and decided to go ahead and advance and complete a few extra levels. And then all of a sudden it hit me that I haven't went back to see where you guys are standing and everything on the first several levels in terms of the leaderboards, and I saw that there was a couple levels that I'd been beaten on, and some by you guys and some on the overall the worldwide leaderboards, and I decided to spend some time grinding the other day and got myself on the leaderboards. I think I'm at least in the top like 15-ish on all the first 10 levels, at least as of the other day. But the top 10 on the majority of them, and top 5 in several of them. I think like I'm number 2 or 3 or something like that, or I was at least on a few of the levels. So it's been fun to kind of go back there over and over and kind of, grind that and see how high I can get. And then it's already been known in our Discord. Barry and I have chatted about it. Jakester's already aware that I did finally complete Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna. So yep, it's complete, it's done. And then immediately I wrote up a giant list of questions and sent them to Barry and saying, what about this and this and this and this and this and this and this? And the majority of those questions I think could be answered with Barry's recommendation to play Xenoblade 2. So I think almost all of those questions that I still had unanswered were, hey, you'll find out in the main game. You should go play it. And so I haven't yet. Although I've been looking, I went to Target and Walmart today, and both of them completely sold out. So either I'm going to have to go and maybe find it at GameStop or order it online if I'm going to get a physical copy, because all the stores around me are sold out.
Yeah, because right now, especially with the pandemic, people are looking for big RPGs. Well, it didn't help that Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition launched last month. A lot of people playing it for the first time loved it, and then thought, okay, well now I want to play 2. So now they're going for 2.
Yep, for sure. So I don't know. I'm gonna step away from it for a while. Like I said, I still have X to finish, and I have my Wii U set up again. So maybe I'll jump back over to X. It won't answer any of my questions about Xenoblade 2, but I do have the game already, and I figured I should probably at some point complete it too. But let me go to the chat. Jakester didn't think I was going to actually mention it. Of course, gave me the word fossils. Thank you so much for that. And then Jakester said he has an island idea for his island, assuming Animal Crossing, but he doesn't have the motivation to do it, and the fact that they don't have online multiplayer for decorating island sucks. Yeah, it could be kind of cool if you were able to do that. I think there's still some advancements and everything that Animal Crossing could and should be making in the near future, and things like that could be one of them. So yeah, I'm interested to see where they go, but it's definitely got to that point for me as well, where I'm just kind of like, I'm doing a little bit here and there, but it's not as the thing that I was doing for a while. Jared just joined in and said he's been playing Animal Crossing, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Pokemon Go, and he got Boomerang Fu, which was a lot of fun. So cool. I also
fixed the typo, if you didn't know, for kindness. That was actually addressed in like a very mini update or something.
Did they really? That's, I guess the poll or the all the effort went into it, and it actually fixed it. So that's impressive. I will say as well, Barry, I also found the Cubic Games sale on the eShop as well. So I downloaded the few that I didn't have already, which was Pocket Mini Golf, Not, Jumping Joe and Friends, and Mini Trains. So they are like right there on my home screen right after Rocket League and Animal Crossing. So at some point I figured, hey, they're free. Why not check them out, and I'll play them here and there. Cubic Games gives away their games all the time. Like I don't get it. Why? I don't know how they make money at that company, because they're always giving away their games.
I don't know if that sale's still going on either. It was like a one-day thing.
It might have been, yeah. So you guys can check it out if it's still going on, but if not, sorry you missed out. But you know what? Another month or two, they'll probably make them all free again.
Just to have you had to download Coloring Book, which is free. Mm-hmm. So download that, and then the others turn to free.
Absolutely.
So it was like 7 games for free.
Yeah. Important question though. How many of you? Which of you guys played My Universe, My Baby? It came out today. Did you?
Did not, but I'll tell you a funny story. I actually got 2 copies of it.
Did you really?
Yes, because I wound up getting an email from Best Buy saying my copy shipped. Cool. And then I got another email last night, and it was like, "Oh yeah, your Amazon order is shipped." I'm like, "What is this?" And I clicked. It was My Universe, My Baby. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I forgot to cancel. I actually pre-ordered it both places.
Yes.
Forgot to cancel. So now I have 2 copies.
two.
I have to return one.
That's great. You can send it Greg's
You're
way.
supposed to keep it sealed in. You're supposed to keep it sealed in box because it's gonna be worth like.
That's right. You can play one and then save the other.
It's staying sealed. But yeah.
We can do it as a giveaway or something. I don't know if anybody wants it. Probably after we realize.
Yeah, buy it from me, Steve, and we can do that. It wasn't like they shipped me 2 and it was.
How much
free.
is it? It's not a full price game, is it?
I think $40 or 30.
Really?
30 bucks. Let's see. Hold on, let's see.
That's funny. Yeah, I can't. I'm definitely not gonna be buying that. If I can't buy Xenoblade 2, I'm not gonna be buying My Universe, My Baby.
My Universe, My Baby. Well, come on. Yeah, it's true. If you put that over My Universe, My Baby, I would be very shocked. It was $31.86, so it was $29.99 game.
Okay, not as bad as 50 or $60, but it's still more than 5.
Yes.
So if it was digital only, it would be like 5 probably.
Maybe. They'd probably still make it like at least 19.
It's a franchise. There's a bunch of DS games. So
yeah. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that Play NYC happened last week, and so a lot longer than usual. Is it normally like 3 days or something like that? Yeah, so it was an entire week, the August 10th to the 16th, and hopefully you guys got an opportunity to at least check out some of it because it was completely for free. So thanks to Playcrafting for doing that this year, making it absolutely free. And yeah, I got a chance to check a little bit of it out. I think the really cool thing is that it's still available on their Twitch channel for if you guys want to check it out late. That's actually what I ended up doing because I was busy during the time they were live, and so I went back and watched an entire day and some parts of other days. So that's available, and they also have their stuff on their YouTube channel. They have a bunch of the trailers that they showed off during the entire thing, so you can still go back and watch a lot of that content even if you did miss it. But Barry, could give us a rundown of like what were some highlights of Play NYC this year, and what went on this year?
Yeah, they had all their panels started at like 5 o'clock during the week. So I wanted to catch a couple of them, and I honestly just didn't get a chance to. So like I was able to at least go back after and watch some of it. So they had a bunch of different panels and talks from different people in the industry. A lot of gameplay demos. They did a lot of the developers up there and talking about their games, showing off their games, which I always think is cool. It's very reminiscent of the Treehouse that Nintendo does during E3. But for me, like the coolest thing is the exhibitors tab, because it literally has all the games that are being shown off. Every game has a page, and a good chunk of them have demos. And if they don't have demos, they at least have gameplay footage where the developer talks about it. And for me, it's a little bit on the personal side because looking through, I'm seeing a lot of these games that I've seen last year or the year before, and I'm actually able to get the update and see how well it's done. And some of them that weren't playable last year even, or now have a demo, like an alpha demo. And I was like, cool, now I can actually see how it's evolved. And some really great titles. I highly recommend you go to play-nyc.com and check out the exhibitors, check out the games. We're going to talk an Indie Direct coming up here shortly, but this is a lot of that indie stuff, and some games that are Alex Swim Sanity. There's information on that just came out. You get some cool gameplay. One of the things we did a game chat on, Damage in Transit, is there. You can see some gameplay from that. Just some really cool highlights like Antipole DX, which is a game I've loved since 2017. You get to see gameplay for Operation Dogfight, which is one that I also fell in love with in 2017. That's a dogfighting game, but you're actually dogs flying the planes. Really, really cool. Really, in 3D. It's not like an 8-bit thing. It's a full 3D, Star Fox It's like Star Fox. It's really, really cool. Just some awesome ones. One that we championed last year, Crystalla, had like it was like a demo reel that we actually hosted on our YouTube channel. Now they have pre-alpha gameplay where you could actually download the demo and give it a try. I'm really happy for them. It's just so cool to see this. Is it less personal? 100% yes. Is it as exciting as it was, actually going there? In my opinion, yes, obviously. I don't think anything online is going to be as exciting as being in there. It'd be like watching a video of a roller coaster is not going to be the same thing as actually riding the roller coaster. I'm fine with that, though. I'm scared of the heights, so it works for me. But with this stuff, I think it's cool that you can play some games in the comfort of your home. It allowed me to experience some of the games a little bit more than I would have even at the show, because it's hard to, as a journalist, it's hard to play games at a show and really dive into it because you have like 100 other people you need to talk to and you have a set amount of time to do it. So it's really cool to see what they've done, and I hope that people were able to give them a little bit of their time during the week to check it out, especially because it was free. It was so free. Normally, Playcrafting makes money on the show. They put it on. They pull in tickets and everything else. They didn't make a dime. They didn't make a dime on this show. They did it simply for the love of the game and for the love of indie developers, and they really deserve your attention. So if you haven't checked it out, play-nyc.com. Check out their Twitch. Give them a little love because they absolutely deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got a chance, like I said, to tune in for a little bit of them, but mostly going after the fact, and I think that's really cool. I think it's one of the things that it's not the same, like you said, of actually going to an event in person. There's very few things, if anything, that can really replace that. But they did a really good job, I think, of capturing all that stuff, and it was cool to be able to highlight specific things, and all the attention at that time was on that specific game, that developer, which was really cool, and being able to have those conversations and sit in and hear those interviews that they did, and just hear the heart behind. And I as I was watching, I could definitely think back to what you guys have talked about on the industry talks when you're interviewing them and everything, about this is a very personal show. And even doing it online, it was conveyed they wanted to actually get to know the people behind the games. What led them to develop this game. What's a lot of this, like you said before, is this is their passion projects. And it's so cool to see their heart behind it and their thought process and what led them to those different things. And I think that's been really cool. So kudos for them for doing this, especially like you said, for free. Yeah, it was pretty great, and I hope that there's some aspect, even if they're able to do Play NYC 2021 in person and everything. I'd still love if there's an aspect of that still that they could put online for the rest of us that can't make it. Yeah, I think you're muted actually, Barry.
They absolutely do every year. They always put on the equivalent of the Treehouse. They do that with different developers. They had the talks the first year in 2017. They had panels. 2018, 19, not so much. But for online, they actually had spotlights of different developers getting on that. So that was really cool. One year they actually had the stage set up like an old retro 1970s, early 80s living room, and it was really, really cool to sit there and play this high definition game and in that type of setting. But they always stream. They're constantly streaming. When you're at the show, you can actually see the stage. You could watch them do it live, but
cool.
They do broadcast it on their Twitch.
Nice. Greg, did you get a chance to check anything out? Do you have any thoughts about Play NYC?
Actually, I sort of forgot about it, to be honest. I didn't make any reminders to check it out, but I'm sure their broadcasts and streams are still there, so maybe I can go back and try to watch them before the next podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely
got the exhibitors page. There could be a game there that you'd be like, oh, this looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for everyone that did miss out, or you want to go back and watch it, their Twitch their Twitch page does have everything. It's still archived there. I don't know if they're keeping it there, so make sure you run over there and get it right away. Because some of those things, if they don't, like, you know, how Twitch works, a lot of times if you don't make it a video, it won't stay on there. It's just the archived version of the stream right now. And so there's a chance that they may go away soon, so make sure you jump on there. But you can also jump on their YouTube channel for Playcrafting as well, and they have a bunch of, like I said, the trailers that they showed off, and I think they're also adding a lot of the clips of each day, and like you said, the interviews and stuff like that they're adding there all the time too. So you can still kind of get the Play NYC experience even if you did miss out, which is really awesome. But yeah, so yeah, thanks to Play NYC. You know, normally we gave away a bunch of tickets, and we're saying thank you for doing all that. They gave away all the tickets this year, so thanks for doing all that. You know, just consider all of our Nintendo podcast listeners. You're all winners this year, because Playcrafting just gave you all a free ticket to the online version. So
Yep, everyone wins.
Everybody wins for sure, and even those that forgot about it. So let's move into some more news. We're going to recap a little bit of the Indie World Showcase. We got an announcement, of course, like always, kind of at the last minute, that Nintendo was going to do another collection of games that they want to show off online. Formerly, that was called a Direct, but they've kind of gotten away from calling it that much anymore, and they have different names for different shows that they put on. This specific one is the Indie World Showcase. They've had several of those. I believe the last one was in March or April, if I'm remembering correctly. It was, you know, several months ago, but yeah, they went live earlier today on September 18th, and they showed off several different games, actually 23 if I counted correctly. So yeah, I'm going to run through the games and the release windows or release dates really quick, and then cover a couple other things, and then we'll kind of discuss as we normally do what was shown off. So yeah, so the games that were talked about were Hades, that's coming on in fall 2020. So just around the corner. Hypnospace Outlaw is coming August 27th. Spiritfarer is coming today, so it's actually already available. Garden Story is coming out in 2021. Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero are both coming out early 2021. Takishi and Hiroshi actually came out today, as well as Raji, an ancient epic. Bear and Breakfast is coming out in 2021. A Short Hike came out today. Card Shark comes out sometime in 2021. Torchlight 3 is coming out in the fall of 2020. Manifold Garden is coming, actually came out today. Evergate also came out today. Haven is coming out later this year. Going Under is coming out on September 24th of this year. The Red Lantern is coming out sometime this fall. Unrailed is coming out on September 23rd of this year. Struggling is set for an August 27th date. And Inmost is coming out in just a few days on August 21st. She Dreams Elsewhere is coming out early 2021. Grindstone is sometime this fall, and so is Goner 2. And at the very end of the showcase, we saw, we actually heard first, some Goose sounds, because they showed off a new 2-player mode that's coming in an update to Untitled Goose Game as a free update on September 23rd. And that's going to be available to everyone that has the game already digitally, but it's also going to be available on the physical version that's coming out soon. And there's also a big eShop sale that they showed off. And then, yeah, so we have several games that they highlighted. They shared a lot more information about games like Hades, Raji, Spiritfarer, A Short Hike, Torchlight 3, Takeshi and Hiroshi, Hypnospace Outlaw, Card Shark, Manifold Garden, Subnautica, and its sequel, Below Zero, Garden Story, Evergate, Bear and Breakfast. They spent a ton of time on those and kind of highlighted the rest of them. But pretty cool to know that, yeah, we have 6 games that actually launched today. So that was Raji, Spiritfarer, A Short Hike, Takashi and Hiroshi, Manifold Garden, and Evergate, all available today. So a lot of really cool games. I was pretty impressed by what they showed off today. Normally, during these indie showcases, there's sometimes what I know that I've sat back and go, but that was not the case today. I have several games that I am excited about, and I think all of them, actually only 2 of them, are available right now. So very, very soon I'll probably be checking out a couple of these games, and those were Raji and Evergate. I think looked really, really cool. And so looking forward to checking that out. I've always been interested by Torchlight, and so that's one of those games that maybe by the 3rd one, this is going to finally get me to jump into it. Untitled Goose Game, I was almost already sold on it just by everything that I've seen of it, and having a 2-player mode that might push me over the edge to actually get it. And of course, just I'm intrigued by the Takashi and Hiroshi, like the art style that they're going with and everything, and really intrigued by Card Shark. Probably won't be a game that I'm actually going to buy, but it's interesting, for sure. And it left me scratching my head in a good way, going, I need to look more into that when it comes out. So yeah, what did you guys think, Greg? What do you think about the Indie World Showcase?
Yeah, I think overall, I mean, I had that more of the thing, like you said, you've had on previous indie ones. There wasn't a lot that seemed to really grab my attention, but I'm very happy that all these games are actually coming to Switch, because we actually have no idea what Nintendo games are. So it's great that there's going to be a plethora of games coming throughout this year, today, and even some for next year. So it's great to see. I love supporting indie games. For the most part, I try to get the ones that I really enjoy and play through them and that whatnot. So, I mean, the Evergate one did seem somewhat interesting. I might check that one out. With you, I did agree with the Card Shark one. That was definitely a head scratcher. I'm like, I don't know if I'd be very good at this game, but I'm really interested to see how it works. Like, because it's kind of like stealthish, but it's because you have to put the card you're technically cheating in the deck and playing cards. So it's no idea how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
And I think so. Then pretty much the most exciting aspect for me was the Untitled Goose Game update, because I've mentioned on the podcast before, me and my daughter play this game, and we absolutely have a fun time. And now that she'll have her own goose, is just gonna make it more of a mainstay game for us to be playing together. So that was definitely the highlight for me overall.
Nice. Barry, were you also going meh, or were you pretty excited about this one?
Oh no, are you kidding me? This blew the last Nintendo Direct out of the water. I was virtually excited for every game shown off, at least in one way or another. I thought this was a fantastic presentation. Hades looks great. I'm really excited to try that. Spiritfarer is one of those games that I've heard a lot of good things, and I just don't know if I'll be able to do it, because it's an emotional game and I'm an emotional guy, and it looks so sweet, and I've heard good things. Subnautica is one of those that I have on PS4, never got around to it. I've again heard good things, and to see it come to Switch is great, and then to have a sequel as well, that's awesome. The Takeshi Hiroshi thing, at first I was like, this is such a weird art style, because it's like that claymation almost kind of. And then it shows the gameplay, and I'm like, oh, you're making the RPG for your brother, and I'm like, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. And you can make it too easy, but then he's not excited about it. Make it too hard, then he's upset. So you got to find that balance. I think that's pretty genius. That is a really cool thing. Raji was my game of the show. Just blew me away. I actually, after it aired, I showed the clip to my wife, who loves foreign cultures and loves, Indian culture. And she actually went and bought the game. Like, she bought it digitally. Like, I'm not waiting for a physical. I'm buying the game now. So she actually has it. She hasn't had a chance to play yet. She might be playing it as we speak, for all I know. But yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, that was my game.
That it kind of interject real quick. Did you play what was kind of a spiritual successor to Kid Icarus? And I'm blanking on the name of it. I think it was on Wii. It was a side-scrolling one. What was that?
Not Rodea.
No, I forget what it was, but it kind of had a similar art style. This one looks so much better, but it's kind of that art style where like it's realistic cartoon kind of like thing, but it's also like I love the camera angle because it just gives this impression of grandeur that you're a part of something huge. And you feel like this small little character in the middle of this huge world. So yeah, I was intrigued by the story, of course, but also just the way they're telling it and the different perspective shifts and stuff. It seemed really cool.
Yeah, and I love Diablo style games, so it very much feels like a hack and slash Diablo. Speaking of, Torchlight 3, Torchlight is one of those games that I got back when I was getting every XBLA game on the 360, and I played it and loved it, and just it was just so great. And then Torchlight 2 was coming out, and I was excited, but I never played it because I never got a physical, and at that point I was done buying digital. And now Torchlight 3, so now I'm hoping for a physical because I really, really want to play that, especially because they brought back pets. Because I didn't even know they took away pets from the second one, but from the first one it was so great because like playing the original Diablo, because it was the first one's modeled after the original Diablo, and the original Diablo you had one town, Tristram, and you just went down, you just straight down, and then whenever you needed to, you used the scroll of teleportation to go back to town to sell stuff and whatnot. But in Torchlight you have the same kind of structure, except your pet will fight with you, but when you have like a full inventory, you can tell them, hey, bring this back to sell. Like all the junk you picked up, so they'll go back and you can continue the adventure. But now you're without your pet for a bit, and they'll eventually come back and give you the money that they sold for, and rejoin you. And I'm like, that's so cool.
That's interesting. So, it's kind of like the you're talking about Xenoblade 2 with the you can send off the blades or whatever to do different things. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just really cool to see. So I'm interested to see how the pet mechanics, because there's definitely way more in this than Torchlight 1. Card Shark is one that intrigued me because it looks like a strategy game, and I was talking with Jakester a little bit. I'm really intrigued, and Jakester agreed. Like, how many decks of cards did he have to buy to get all those aces, like physical? Because they were all, at first I'm like, wow, how many takes did this take? And then I realized they were all aces. I'm like, I see what you did there. That's really clever. So that was cool. What other ones were really like good? Just the Untitled Goose game, I'm excited because that's getting a physical, and I'm really hoping that patch is on the card. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
I think it should be, yeah.
But yeah, like, I'm excited to play that finally.
Yeah. And that might be one of the reasons why they held off on releasing the physical version, like you'd said before.
Yeah, Evergate I thought was Ori 2 at first, and I was like, oh, Ori, oh no, but it does look really good.
It's really good, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Ori and Lightfall. In a sense, because like Lightfall, you made your platforms as you did it, and this kind of make platforms too.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested in that one. I think because I hope I don't know what the controls are going to be like. I'm guessing they're going to have traditional controls, but I think with the drawing stuff, it'd be really cool if they did use the Joy-Cons and allow you to use motion control. I'm like, that could be a fun thing, and be able to do the same thing like touchscreen. In handheld would be kind of cool if they did that. So.
Yeah, that I'm interested. I want to see, but there was one other. It was which was the one that was it was like the camp. You're like the bird, and you
the bird. A short hike.
Short hike. Yeah. That one. The art style really looks cool.
It looks like it belongs on the Game Boy Advance or something though. So it's like it was interesting to see that kind of art style in the. On the Switch, and I think that's going to be interesting because I haven't seen too many in that art style.
Well, that's a unique thing. It's something different, and that's one thing I've noticed, and that's why I love indies, because they're very artistic and they're very passionate, and you see so much color in this indie world. Like every game's like popping in color, and I love that. So I thought this was a great presentation, and I really would love to see if they announced every one of these were physical. I would be happy. My wallet would be crying, but I would be happy.
Right.
Because I think they do just physical.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot more of them are coming physical. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, at some point at least half of these games got a physical copy. And I think, and I wonder, you know, games like Untitled Goose Game, where they probably had no idea how the response was going to be, but all of a sudden they start seeing that it got a huge response and people love it, and now they're like, oh well, let's release this physically and let's wait on the 2-player version before we can do that and everything, so we can do it well. I think as well, I agree. Like, I think I saw so many different styles of game this time. Not only different art styles, but different types of games. I mean, I wasn't like Card Shark. I've never seen anything like that before. And also like Hypnospace Outlaw. Like, I'm not going to get that game, but I'm so glad that it's going to exist, because like where else can you go for a 90s simulator? Like, just trying to like go through that. It was so weird, but it was so cool that exists. And for some people, that's going to be like a highlight for them. And that was just really cool. And I think, you know, I'm gonna gravitate to, you know, Raji and Torchlight and Evergate, things that I'm intrigued by that are not too far out there. But I love the fact that there are games that are out there and trying completely new things, and because we don't really see that too much from those mainline games, from those first party. A lot of times, it's these indie games that really show off that kind of stuff, which is so awesome. Cool. Well, that was pretty much for the Indie World Showcase. Let's see. The chat room was talking about it a lot too. Jakester said it was so much better than the last Nintendo Direct, in quotes. And Raji was really what caught his attention as well. Everlast is tempting, but and he's hoping it has a demo. That's the other thing too. There was several of these games that had demos. I didn't take a note of those, but you guys can find those easily in your eShop. Just go to the I think you can even just type in demo or look in the search or whatever. But yeah, several of these games had demos, which is really, really cool that they're doing that. And he also said that Card Shark was somewhat interesting, but it isn't for me. I think the same thing. I think a lot of these games seemed really interesting. Not for me, but really interesting. Yeah, and then he's also, of course, making fun that I said graduate instead of gravitate. So anyway, yeah. So, and then he also said that it takes at least 208 decks to have a full deck of 52 aces. So, just if you guys were wondering.
Assuming he had a full deck of 52 there. It could have been like a deck of 40 you would have never known.
That's true. And yeah, he also pointed out that several of these games were shadow drops. Yeah, we have an article on our site, NintendoFuse.com, that highlights all of those 6 games. So make sure you check out that. And at this point, I want to just throw out a shout out to David. David's our newest person on our team, and he's been writing like crazy. And all of a sudden, like because we've kind of slacked off a little bit and just kind of, you know, don't have time. Heck, we don't have time to actually play the games we want, and let alone write the articles that we want to write on our website and everything. But David has joined the team in the last couple of weeks and been just knocking it out of the park. So if you have not headed over to NintendoFuse.com lately, make sure you do that, and you'll see a lot of his articles. And honestly, he's actually he sparked me to be writing more as well. So I've been trying to write more as well, but yeah, he's totally blown me out of the water on there. Most of the articles are by David recently, so kudos to David. Great. Show him some love. Throw him some comments in his articles, and say something to him in the Discord as well. And Jared's yeah. See, David's making us all step up a little more. Jared's also on our writing team, and I'll just say, if you guys have any of you guys that are listening, watching, if you ever want to join our writing team, we are looking to add more people to that team. And so just, you know, hit us up on social media or our Discord and say, hey, I'd like to, I'm interested, and I'd like to try out that writing thing. Just let us know. But yeah, let's move on. We also have news that there's a new publisher for Nintendo Switch that's coming on the scene. Barry, tell us about this new publisher.
Yeah, so there's a new publisher coming out. It's called Premium Edition Games. Now it was kind of funny because I got an email from Steve, like, hey, did you know this? Check this out. Here's the embargo, here's the press release, and all this. He forwarded it to me, and I don't think he realized that I actually had the write-up ready to go. And
I had no idea.
And it's funny because I was able to do that because Premium Edition Games started into a type of fruition, so to speak, last year between my two other co-hosts on the Switch Mania Playcast, Jeffrey and JP, and they got together and they started discussing, hey, we're gonna make let's make physical games, let's do it. And no idea. I didn't know them at the time. And then after I joined the Playcast back, I think in November or late October of last year, and they're like, "Hey, so let me tell you about what we're doing." And they told me. I was like, "That sounds awesome." I said, I want in, and they were gracious enough to bring me on board. So I'm actually a member of Premium Edition Games. I'm a staff member, and it's awesome because everyone's works as a team. They do a bunch of Jeff does some things, JP does some things, and I do other things. You'll find me like on the Discord. I run the Discord over there. I'm constantly doing the emails and customer service, and we're always discussing, hey, what games should we bring out, and having table discussions on that, and a lot of work. And right now, Steve is playing our Direct, which I was able to take part in, which was cool. Just fun to actually record, which I don't think Steve even watched the Direct, to be honest with you, because I figured I would get a message like, wait a second, that sounds like you. The very first voice you hear is me.
Is it really? Yeah, I never watched. I just read the article and had no idea. Like, yeah.
I don't think you even had an idea that I was even part of it. Which was
no,
funny.
Honestly, like I'm finding out right now, and I was like, as you're talking, I'm like, oh, he said he had big news to talk about. This is probably it.
I definitely hinted at this for sure, but I couldn't say anything, of course. And so we're starting right now. Our first game is Super Blood Hockey, which I did mention I'm playing, and that is our next Playcast game. So that is available to purchase right now. It's a pre-order. And our second game coming out is actually going to be a 4-pack from Pigeon Dev Collections and Sometimes You. It's going to be 4 games all on the same card. We like all physical, no downloads. We want the full game. And then one for next year that we already showed off was a Robot Named Fight, which is a Metroidvania. So perfect for you, Greg. Fantastic game. These are just some of them. We have more coming, but Super Blood Hockey is going to be the first. And you can see the footage right there. It is ice hockey, Blaze of Steel style, NES, with tons of blood and action, and it is a ton of fun. Really, really cool. And we're going above and beyond with a lot of the stuff because we want all of our stuff to be premium. So our standard premiums, they have the slipcase. In case Super Blood Hockey is actually the artwork is done by the artist for Mortal Kombat, which is really cool. But they're gonna have a pin. They're gonna have stickers. They're gonna have a card. They're gonna have a full color manual, and then we're gonna have our deluxe versions, which are gonna have extra stuff like a steelbook and soundtrack. And all our deluxes, we're actually gonna do a old school strategy guide for the games, written physical book strategy guide. Super awesome to have. And not every game is gonna get that treatment. Super Blood Hockey isn't, for example, but every game's going to be, filled with love and done with love. And all the games we're actually talking with the developers. We are working with the developers. I'm doing interviews with the developers so we can get the interviews out there on our site and kind of build up some hype with that. And let the kind of like Play NYC, we want our customers to feel the same way about the games as developers do. We want them to see like the passion behind it. And that's why we're working with them and really just trying to bring some great games to the physical space for the Switch that already they're already out there digitally, but there's so many of us collectors out there that we really want to bring more attention to some of these games, because not everybody, see, the eShop is full of games. You might not have even heard of these games, and they've been out, since like Super Blood Hockey came out last year, and probably people never even heard of it until our announcement. And it's like, oh yeah, here you go, So it's been a lot of fun. Definitely a different experience. Finally being, in the publishing field, and I'm excited to do more. We just brought on another member to do some social media stuff now. Frank, he just joined us, so it's great to see us growing and the love from the community. And that's just it. We're trying to show everybody, like, hey, we're legit. And outside of our first game, we're not selling any of our other games until we at least have them in hand, which is cool. The first game is a little different because we need the capital, and we're working through it. But we told people it's coming out. Like, it's not like, we did an industry talk with Physicality, and they're waiting till that bar hits before they put out the physical. We're not waiting. We're doing a 6-week pre-order. At that point, we're going ahead with it anyway, which is cool because we're gonna, do what we have to do to make sure these games come out, and then afterwards, we'll continue to sell the games, of course. We're hoping it sells out, of course, but it's just a matter of whether people want to or not. And like anything, there's been hiccups. Running a company. For example, you experienced it that you got 3 emails for the press release, and then you got 3 emails because it's a funny story, and I will always tell it, and I will always make fun of JP for it. Is because we literally were spending that night doing like the final meeting. Like the 3 of us were. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna set up, and here's how we're going to handle launch day. And I was actually writing our blog on our site, and JP was writing the press email, and we're all getting excited, and he's like, all right, I'm good to go. We're like, good night. I walk upstairs, I'm getting to bed. All of a sudden, I get a message, and it's JP going, oops. And then I get a call from him, and I'm like, what? Oops, what? He's like, I kind of sent the email, and he was panicking. He's like, I didn't know it was gonna send. And I was like, oh no, like, that's not good. So I'm like, okay, calm down. Let's send another email out and just call it oops, and just say like there's a embargo, so we can control when people know about this.
Which is really funny because I made sure to include that in my email to you because at the time I had no idea.
I copied your email, exactly what you said, and I sent it to JP and said, yep, see, at least the message has been getting across because he's seen when people opened it. Mm-hmm. So then he sends it out, and he's like, okay, good. He's like, oh, crap. I'm like, what now? He's like, I didn't include a time zone. I'm like, oh, I would do oops, too, You're talking Eastern time zone. So it was, like, really funny with that, and obviously, we actually had a little flub with our pricing. Not with our pricing, with our packaging. We actually had it as a bigger package than it would be, so the shipping was significantly more. So we're like, oh crap, like we had to go through, and it was like cut in half. There was an option to cut the price in half. So we had to email everybody that purchased, like, hey guys, just so you can email us, and we will issue a refund of the difference. So lots of emails I've been getting over the past couple days. Oh, I want to go down to the other pricing. So it's been an experience. But it's been a lot of fun, and I am truly honored to be a part of that team. And going forward, this is the first time watching this Indie Direct, Indie World, and I'm like, hey, I'm in a position now where some of these games could very well become physical, and obviously nothing set in stone because it just happened, and I'm sure a ton of other companies are doing the same thing. But we're definitely interested in bringing some of these games to the physical market ourselves. So we'll see if that happens. But nice. Yeah, it's really cool and exciting to be in this part of the gaming industry at this point.
Very nice. Well, congratulations.
Well, if you need anyone to review your games, I'll be able to help you out. You're a publisher, so you got contacts now.
Yeah, well, that's not my department. I don't get the review codes, unfortunately.
That's right. Maybe some giveaways. But we'll talk later about that stuff.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where, there will definitely be discussions going forward, and definitely, group discussions. And I think that's one of the coolest things is, they started this company last year, and they decided to just say, hey, you want to be a part of this, we really should, because we all work so well in the Playcast. If you haven't listened to the Playcast, you really should. It's a fun podcast, and we work really well together. So it was just nice that they said let's include you and let's do this, and I love being a part of that. I love being like, oh, what about this game? Should we pursue this game? Oh, this game's kind of crappy. Oh, this game's great. This game needs a physical. And it's also, with my connections with Play NYC, I've pitched several of those developers and said, hey, these guys are hungry. These guys should have it. So we'll see. It'll is a lot more. It's more than just, hey, let's make everything physical. It's, honestly, can we sell 5,000 units? Because that's the minimum order, and it's like, oh, they're not cheap to make a physical game. So it's as if I wanted to, I would make them all physical, but I can't. So that's why we did like the Pigeon Games dev collection. We're looking into doing more compilations because you really get a more bang for your buck. And what's funny is if you look at the Pigeon dev games, there's 4 games on there. 2 of the games are Awesome P1 and Awesome P2. Awesome P1 and 2 just came out physically from East Asia Soft for the Vita. The 2 of them on the card at the same time. Only like 1,500 copies because small print run and it's sold out. Then you look at Red Art Games, which just announced today that they are also doing Awesome P1 and 2. They're doing it for PS4, but they're doing them as separate releases. So 2 separate discs. You have to buy 2 separate PS4 games to get both games. And then you look at us, and we're doing the whole 9 yards collection, or you can get the standard, either one, the regular edition. But we're including both games on the card with 2 more games on the card, all for significantly cheaper. And it's like, wow, we really want to try to bring that bundled deal to gamers, because honestly, I don't think those, like Awesome P on its own warrants a whole CD. It's a smaller game. I think Red Art is being a little greedy on that. Both of them fit on a Vita card. There's no reason both of them can't fit on a Blu-ray. But it's really, that's what we're trying to do, because those are stuff I love. I love compilations. I've always loved compilations. I think you get a better feeling when you're buying a whole compilation. The Namco Museum took off for a reason.
I bought those collections so many times, even though I have them already. I just keep buying them because they're cool to have the collection. And some of them I've even bought digitally and physically because I forgot that I already owned it. Bought it again. But I don't care because it's cool. Barry, you're getting like a ton of congratulations and all that stuff in the chat, so I definitely want to make sure we call them out. Jesse is also in the chat, your coworker there of Limited Games, so or not Jesse. Your coworker. Oh, he's from Jesse. Limited Run.
Jesse is a very good fan that was a fan of the Playcast.
That's what it is. Okay.
After I joined, we started talking. He's a really awesome guy. He runs the Switch Collector Facebook group, the biggest Switch group on Facebook, and now he's joining us here, which is awesome, and much love to Jesse. Thank you.
That's cool. Okay, that's the connection. I knew there was a connection there somewhere, but I'd forgotten. So, Jared saying congrats, Roth saying nice, you got this, Husson's saying congrats. Jakester is already putting in his money for a physical version of Raji. So there you go.
To be honest with you, like I told you, Raji was my game of show, and Raji was also a very big highlight for JP and Jeff. So I will say I will do everything I can in my power to get a physical Raji. I think that game deserves it. Even though, like I said, my wife literally bought the digital version. It doesn't matter. I can't say we're the only ones pursuing it. I'm sure they've probably got a lot of emails after that happened.
Yeah.
So, if you don't do it, I'll just be happy to at least see it come physically, because I think that game looks awesome. But we will bring. The thing is, like, so many of these companies, they bring out so many. You look and they're like some like Super Rare tries to do like one a month, which is cool. Like Limited Run seems to have at least 1 or 2 every weekend or every week for the pre-order. We're trying to do with our deluxes. We're trying to do to 40 year, not 1 a quarter, not too much. And then for the regular editions, the regular premium editions, we're gonna sprinkle them in here or there. But we're not really gonna try to break the bank. We understand, as collectors, we understand how expensive it gets, but we want to give some extra love to those games.
Absolutely. For sure, and I think that's kind of cool too. It's cool that we got the opportunity to talk about that tonight alongside the Indie World Showcase and also Play NYC. It's like this was definitely a very indie focused podcast episode, and I think that's really cool. And I think that's really awesome that companies like Premium Edition, but also all these other companies that you're going to now be in competition with, are out there, because it's really awesome for the developers of Raji to all of a sudden they probably got hammered with emails saying from all people, companies like yours, and saying, okay, hey, can we put this on physical? We want your business, we want your game, and that's going to be so awesome as an indie developer. For some people that really are, this is their passion project. They developed it all on their own in their basement, and then all of a sudden, like, now they're getting hammered by all these different publishers saying, we want your game on physical, can we have it? That's going to be so awesome.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure that we're going to have a time period where there's going to be less physical games put out by the bigger companies, and it's all going to be handled by smaller companies, because there is a market. There's a huge market for that. And I think that it shows. It shows a lot of people. We love our physicals, and it's nice to have something tangible. And I'm sure for those developers, it's going to be a dream of theirs to. And I've heard from Play NYC when talking to developers, they're like, it'll be a dream of mine to have my game on a shelf, and to know my game is on someone else's gaming shelf, and they're in their collection. Like, I can't disagree. I think that'd be awesome. Like, here's my copy of Mario 3, and here's my copy of Mario Odyssey, and here's my copy of insert game here, and it's like, oh my god, it's right next to it. Holy, that's amazing. Yeah. I never thought it should even belong on the same shelf, let alone right next to.
Right. That's really cool. So we look forward to hearing more about Premium Edition games. And if you guys want those games, make sure you head over to the website, premiumeditiongames.com.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you guys can check that out. Also, check out Barry's article on NintendoFuse.com all about it. Let's move on. I know Greg's got to go pretty soon, so we're going to skip ahead in our outline. You guys that are listening and watching don't realize that we're doing this, but I'm just telling Greg and Barry we're going to hop ahead just a bit and talk about this story, because I know Greg's really excited about it. That there has been a new Zelda trademark filed, possibly for a 35th anniversary, and there's also been recently a Skyward Sword version on Switch that popped up on the Amazon UK site briefly and then was taken down. So possibly, maybe we're having some stuff for the 35th anniversary. Maybe we're having some games coming over to Switch. Of course, we've been talking about the Mario 35th anniversary for a while too, and nothing has really came about from that yet. But there's still a possibility, I guess. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, September was the date that the original Super Mario Brothers came out, I think, in Japan. So maybe they've been holding back till September. Maybe. I don't know. But Greg, what do you think of these trademark filings? Are we going to see anything from Zelda for the 35th anniversary?
I would absolutely love to see that. Skyward Sword was actually one of my favorite 3D Zelda games, so I would absolutely love them to remake it, and be kind of interested to see how they do it on Switch. I mean, I know the Joy-Cons have the motion controls, able to still do like the Skyward Strike and all of that kind of fun stuff, but it also might have the opportunity to also have traditional controls, which is what everybody really wanted for that. I don't even know if that's possible, because I know a lot of the combat was motion control based, and that made a lot more element of strategy to taking down the enemies. But I'm definitely would be really excited to see any sort of packaging or any sort of celebration for Legend of Zelda. So hopefully that would also come with like a Breath of the Wild 2 kind of teaser, but you never really know. Yeah, for sure. They're already talking about this. Jared's super excited about the trademarks, and hopefully the Breath of the Wild 2 special edition, also again rumored. If that Nintendo Direct happens next week, like he's saying, who knows? Barry, what do you think about this?
I am excited. I always like when they do anniversaries, especially when they do them well. Like the Kirby anniversary on the Wii was done very well. The Zelda anniversary on the GameCube was done decently. The Mario anniversary on the Wii was done poorly. So I'm really interested to see what they do, and I would love to see Skyward Sword get another life. I think it gets too much of a bad rap. It's not a bad Zelda game at all. It's linear, which is the biggest thing against it. I wasn't a fan of the imprisoned fight over and over and over again. That was probably my least favorite part of it. But if they did it again and they allowed you to do motion controls with the Joy-Cons, but also play more traditionally without that, I think that would be a huge sell. I would probably play that way just because I already beat it once with the motion controls. Hey, let me do it without that. And I think we're at a stage now where the motion control fad, so to speak, is really gone. Like, the Joy-Cons are still used for some things. They even in like Clubhouse games, they had bowling and stuff like that used Joy-Con. But for the most part, people just expect traditional controls again. Like we did that. That was a phase. We've moved on. And except VR. VR is a little different. But I would prefer to play that the second time around with traditional controls. And I would love to see that. Although I think if it was just Skyward Sword, I think that would be a little bit disappointing for the anniversary. Simply because you're talking 35 years, you're talking a ton of Zelda games. You could do more. You could do a nice collection. Mm-hmm. Like, you could just put out... I mean, on the GameCube, you had Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask 1 and 2 on a collector disc. Cool. You can do something very similar. You could do a disc or a card with Zelda 1 and 2, with A Link to the Past, with the original Link's Awakening and or DX. You could throw like Four Swords and the anniversary and Four Swords Adventures, which never got ported there. You could do a combo of Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D with the updated visuals. You could obviously do the Wind Waker HD and the Twilight Princess HD from the Wii U ported over. They're porting everything. Why not? Just start bringing some of that stuff over, and they could. It would make money. It would make money, and it would be easy to do. And especially if you did like volumes, like Volume 1, Volume 2, and you did and they all had like something on the spine. So if you made them all and you put them all together, it made like the Hylian emblem or something.
Cool.
That would sell. People would want it all. They should make that happen. Yeah. Breath of the Wild 2, my prediction at the beginning of the year was that it was going to come out the end of this year. It was going to come out and compete with the PS5 and the Xbox, Sex. I'm not sure anymore because of COVID. I didn't know COVID was going to be as big as it is or a thing. So I don't think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out this year. I think that the deluxe edition or collector's edition absolutely seems logical. It seems like that's going to be something that's going to happen. But I do think that it's not going to happen. And they did state they want a Zelda game every year. And I really will be upset if Cadence of Hyrule is their Zelda game this year, considering that came out last year. It's a newly physical this year, but that shouldn't count as your Zelda game. We don't have a Zelda game this year. Right. So let's see the man, and same with Mario. Let's get those anniversaries. Let's celebrate, especially with COVID. It should be so much easier for them to re-release older games than to develop new games right now.
That's
true.
You would think. Yeah, for sure. Greg, you gotta head off.
Yep, I was just about to jump in. So enjoy the rest of the show, guys. I'll definitely be listening in to see how you guys cover the rest of the topics.
For sure. Before you go, what are you looking forward to doing over the next couple of weeks? Any specific games you're gonna be playing?
We celebrate my birthday.
That's true. It's your birthday Sunday. Tomorrow. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Greg. Yeah.
Throw a happy birthday, Greg, in the chat and in the comments later.
Yep. And then, so I got a copy of the Origami King Paper Mario, so hopefully I'll get a chance to start that. I also got Catherine Full Body, also hoping to be able to start that and see that as well. So I was hoping to have started one of them before today, but just Animal Crossing just gets in the way sometimes. Gotta find Pascal one more time, and then you're in the ocean for 45 minutes still trying to find one pesky clamshell. So.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Nice. Well, cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Greg. People are throwing their happy birthdays in there. Enjoy your birthday tomorrow, and have a good night.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you, Greg.
All right. Well, as we continue on, there's been a little bit more news, Barry. A game that has been discussed a little bit a few times, but I think some of us were still holding out hope, and some of us have probably given up hope. But Pikmin 3 is actually coming to Nintendo Switch. So speaking of all the the ports that they're making from Wii U, Pikmin 3 is going to be heading to the Switch on October 30th. And in a deluxe format, so it's actually going to have the entire original storyline and all that sort of thing. But there's also going to be co-op added to the entire story mode. There's going to be a new side story missions featuring Olimer and Louis exploring planet PNF 404, also available in co-op as well. There's going to be Bingo Battle, which is a head-to-head multiplayer match. There's going to be all mission mode DLC from the original Wii U game. So a lot of times when you have the deluxe games like that, you do have all of the original DLC. So that's really cool. There's going to be new difficulty options, lock-on targeting, optional hints, and a choice to play at a more relaxed pace. If you wanted more of a mellow mode, so to speak. So yeah, what do you think about this, Barry? Does it surprise you? I mean, I know you're going to be getting it because you get them all, but are you excited to play through Pikmin 3 on Nintendo Switch?
I actually never got to Pikmin 3 on the Wii U.
Oh man,
I never played it. And I like that relaxed mode because I'm one of those that I'm not a big fan of timed things. I like to relax and chill. And I played the Pikmin 1 on the GameCube a little bit, never played Pikmin 2. And then when they came to the Wii, I got Pikmin 1, tried that. And I enjoyed it. I didn't beat it, but I enjoyed it. But again, it was a time element that really started to stress me. And I just don't like that. So the relaxed mode helps. But I'm still disappointed in this. And I'm disappointed in this because I don't think it would have taken much to throw Pikmin 1 and 2 in there. I really don't. I think especially when you have a series like Pikmin 3, or just series like Pikmin, it's not a household name. Nintendo fans, we know Pikmin. But even though it came out almost 20 years ago, or 19 years, it launched 2001.
Barry, you're making me feel old.
Yeah, I know, 2001
Wow.
GameCube launch title. So it's almost 19 years old at this point. It's still not a household name. I mean, there's been 4 releases since 2001 in 19 years, 4 releases and 2 re-releases. So it's one of those things where people may not necessarily want to jump into the 3rd game, even though they're all separate. That not everyone knows that.
Right.
So give them 1 and 2. Put 1 and 2 on there. Just 1, 2, 3. Boom. Have a nice collection. It will be really fantastic. And I feel it will warrant the price. It's the same thing with like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That like they should have included returns. People would have been happy. Would have had 2 for 1. And I just got finished saying how I like compilations. Well, here's another example. They could easily do it. They could do it, and it would be great. Or if they didn't, let's say they said we want to sell Pikmin 3 at $60. We want it to be its own thing. How about a 2-pack releasing alongside of it with Pikmin 1 and 2? And get this, if you sold the 2-pack at like $40 and this at $60, you can get $100 out of people wanting to experience the Pikmin series. And if they maybe they're just unsure, let them buy the one at $40. Now at least they purchased your thing and they get 2 games and they get to try it out. You expose the series to more people, and you wind up making everybody happy. Because if you don't care about 2 and you just want 3, you just buy 3. It just
or buy them all
like,
3 in a deluxe pack for $100 and you get a Pikmin hat.
Or something, yeah. A little slip case that you can put them in, and a little bonuses or something like that. Like they do with like Pokemon, where it's like buy both of them and you get a slip case and you get a couple little extra stuff. Absolutely, the marketing writes itself, and it's so, to me, if it almost feels lazy that they aren't doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's super easy to do, but it can't be that difficult. Yeah. There's other Wii games that have made the jump to the Switch. There's Wii U games to the Switch. There's it's just not something that I don't think they can outsource it. A lot of times they outsource. Look at Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D I mentioned earlier. They were outsourced to a company called Grezzo. Grezzo then went on to do Ever Oasis for Nintendo. Nintendo didn't do that. They outsourced that. That's Zelda. You're telling me they can't outsource Pikmin, which is nowhere near the caliber of a franchise that Zelda is?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The chat is blowing up about Pikmin. I am a huge Pikmin fan. I'm not like a humongous Pikmin fan because I've actually never played 2, which is kind of weird, because for some of my friends that are also Pikmin fans, Pikmin 2 is their favorite. I think because the multiplayer aspect was really fun for them. But I did not play the original one. I played it on Wii when they re-released it and had a blast. I really like the motion controls in it. So we've talked about this motion control thing. Actually, Jesse said earlier he wishes more games had motion controls. And so yeah, I think it's. I hope that there's an aspect of that they do bring that in because that was fun and everything. But yeah, I'm really excited. I didn't ever finish Pikmin 3, partially because some of the chat that's actually going on to talking about that time mode that's in there. So you have like this 30-day limit, and you can redo days, but yeah, you have to like, did I get far enough along to like advance in days, or should I redo that again? Which is an interesting mechanic for sure. But I think it also is a little bit, it holds some people back. So the fact that you have that relaxed mode is really cool, and I'm excited to see them throw that in there. Jared agrees it would have been great to have a collection. I think we may still. I think there's still some time that we can't say that it's not happening. They could just surprise us, for holiday 2020, that they could have some sort of collection, at least with 1 and 2 together. Chariot Goblin said that's why he doesn't believe there's a 3D Mario collection. They haven't done one since Kirby in 2020 or 2012. Yeah, I know. And then like, there's some things like that. Jared loved the Pikmin hat. He wants one of the plushies that they sell as well. I agree. That might get me to buy the physical collection if they did some pack with all 3 in there and threw in one of the plushies. I would be very tempted to get that for sure.
Actually, if they wanted to do a pack with a Pikmin inside, like a plushie, but the color is different, like you can get the red, the blue, the yellow, etc., you would get the Uber collectors that would buy every variation, and you would get them to buy like five times. So that's like $500 from one person.
Yeah. Hiawatha, that's how you pronounce that probably, says that I think I might miss the Wii U specific features too much to get it on Switch. I agree. I think that's going to be really interesting to how they're going to bring that. I'm guessing they're going to probably just put an on-screen map, but it was really cool to have all the map and just the auto travel and all those different things that you just had at a touch, at a glance and at a touch. And so it won't be the same experience because that game was built with the Wii U in mind. But I don't think it's going to be a bad experience. I just think actually maybe the Wii U version might be better because it was built for that. But I think it could still be good. Just like I think. When they ported it over to Wii, it was good. I actually prefer it on Wii over GameCube because I really like the motion controls. But
will use Joy-Con motion controls or regular, like if they'll do both.
I really hope they do, for sure. I am so sorry, guys. Like, there's too much chat for me to keep up. It's just like scrolling like crazy. I do want to go back quickly because as I'm seeing all this come through, there was some chat about Zelda as well. So I wanted to highlight some things from that. Again, there was a lot of chat about that too. But Jakester says that he would really want an anniversary mobile game. They announce a mobile game instead would be interesting. He was joking about that. But then Jared says that he thinks they're going to be a Nintendo Direct next week. It's going to have a presentation with Miyamoto being the front runner of it. And he'll give a brief talk about Mario and his history before officially announcing an All-Stars 2 collection. And then show off a brief trailer about Breath of the Wild 2 along with a special edition. Jared, I think that would be awesome, but let's not get our hopes up because
got my hopes up, Jared. You better not let me down. I'm really hyped for this. Now let's have
just like we had a surprise announcement that Barry is now a publisher of Nintendo Switch games. Like maybe Jared's got some a surprise announcement that he knows what's going on. He's actually like producing these Nintendo Directs or something. Maybe I don't know.
Jared, have you been holding out on us?
That's why he hasn't been able to write much lately. He's been just producing directs. Yeah, Jakester says he doesn't think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to happen this year. He actually thought the same thing even before COVID. But he does wish that they would release something around Oracles or Minish Cap. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to kind of put some additional love toward like some of those handheld Zelda games that I didn't play. I've said before that I was never a huge fan of the handheld games and didn't really play them that much. It'd be really cool to maybe this year for the 35th anniversary they'll shed a little more light on those handheld versions instead. Man, it's so blowing up. I could do an entire podcast tonight just reading what the chat room is saying. Huston's talking about how the Wonderful 101 was fine, but other Wii U games have been fine without the gamepad on Switch. Kind of talking about Pikmin, how they moved that over as well. So yeah, Pikmin 3 should be okay. But yeah, I think there's probably going to be some things that if you could miss, but if you didn't play it on Wii U, you probably won't miss them because they'll probably do a good job.
They did the Mega Man Zero ZX collection, had ZX and ZX Advent, which were DS games, and they managed to make it work with the second screen as a smaller little thing. So they can make it work if they really want to.
There you go. Jared says it's his own dream on the off chance that I'm right. When you talk about Marvel movies and all these other things about headcanon, that's Jared's headcanon. So. And he said he's only been working on a game company with a different company outside of his freelance work. So yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our next to last news story today, and this is a big one. We've actually had a lot of sales numbers come out recently, and in spite of COVID and in spite of Nintendo not putting out any games, they are still doing really well. So Nintendo Switch has now sold, at least what we're hearing, they've sold several since then, but they're now at least 61 million units worldwide, and I believe not by this number, but they're probably closer to 63, 64 million by now, which does put them ahead of the NES, I believe. So I think that makes them, if I'm getting things correct, the apart from their handheld stuff, the second highest, with the Wii like selling a ton, but I think the Switch might be their second highest selling console now. So. And then also we found out that Super Smash Brothers, the whole entire series, has now topped 60 million in sales. 60 million units in sales, with Ultimate, of course, being the top-selling one at just under 20 million units, which is incredible. Also, Xenoblade Chronicles series, Barry, you're happy about this, I'm sure, has surpassed 5 million in sales. Not so shabby for a game series that Nintendo of America didn't think was going to sell very well.
We had to practically beg for that game. And Reggie, Americans, you don't want this. You don't want this. Well, 5 million in sales. That's great. 5 million units sold. And keep in mind, Xenoblade's only 3 games. Now, granted, it's not Mario numbers, it's not Zelda numbers or anything like that. But you're talking JRPG in America, which is not the biggest, genre for this area, and it's doing exceptionally well. Mm-hmm. Every one is sold over 1 million, I believe. Maybe not X, but X was on the Wii U. So that
X was just under 1 million, and Torna hasn't sold 1 million, but that's it's a a side quest sort of thing.
It's tough to do because a lot of people didn't buy it physically because they bought the expansion pass, and you got it with the expansion pass.
So that may actually not take into account all that. So, yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, and in fact, the original Xenoblade Chronicles, and this is counting the remake and everything too, 2.8 million.
Yeah.
2.8 million. They didn't think it was going to sell at all.
And that's on exclusives. When you're dealing with console exclusives, the numbers are always smaller than like Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is on like everything, so it's a factoring of all those numbers. Madden, it's a factoring of all those. So when your Xenoblade Chronicles was limited to the Wii, it was also limited at the end of the Wii's life cycle. And let's be honest, the Wii attach rate was terrible. Majority of people bought it for Wii Sports, Wii Play, and that was about it. Now on the Switch, it sold over like 1.4 million in a month, which is great for a series that they didn't even think would sell over here.
Right.
You look at there's other Nintendo IPs that don't even break 1 million, and here you go. This is 1.4 million or something in a month, and 2 was like 1.7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, 2 also came out in probably the heaviest Nintendo year of all time,
right,
with Breath of the Wild and Odyssey to compete with. So it was very much overshadowed, and that's still phenomenal when you think about that. And again,
absolutely,
the series that Nintendo is sleeping on, this series is, outside of Zelda, in my opinion, their second best series, and it might even compete with Zelda if it continues this way. It is that strong and that amazing. And that's been one of my favorite things about Definitive Edition, is watching people experience the game for the first time. Doing the playcast, we did Xenoblade, and I watched Jeffrey and JP both experience this game for the first time, and they loved it, and it was great. And now I'm watching other streamers experience it for the first time, and they're just like, oh my god, this game is so good, the music is so good, the characters are so good, I'm in love with this game. How is this a Wii game? That's what I always hear. How is this a Wii game?
Right.
How did this come 10 years ago? How did I not even know about this? It is a series that really deserves attention.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And on top of this, we have sales results from July, which, so on top of all those different numbers, we found out that the Nintendo Switch was the highest selling game platform of July year to date. And also compared overall, software sales were up 32%, but hardware sales were down 2%. All of that probably due to a lot of COVID reasons. My guess is because, people are home, they're playing more games, so they're buying more games, but there's actually less hardware to buy, so that's probably why they're down. I mean, you can't even find a Switch probably almost anywhere except for online if you want to pay the really hiked up prices. So it's harder if they're available. They may have actually increased in those numbers. I also Paper Mario: The Origami King placed third overall, being beaten only by Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Wow. Stop putting out games that I can't pronounce. No, that's not your fault. That's my fault for not knowing how to pronounce any of those things. And then also, Ring Fit Adventure ended up, number 6. Animal Crossing New Horizons at 5. Mario Kart Deluxe at number 8. Mario Kart Deluxe is still selling like crazy. Super Smash Brothers, Breath of the Wild, still like on those top charts. So not only are people buying brand new games, but they're going back to those old games that they have more time to play now. So they're buying them. Any other thoughts about all these different numbers, Barry? What do you think about this sort of thing?
The biggest takeaway for this was Animal Crossing. 22 million in 3 months. That is just insane. That is the number 2 game right now on total sales for the Switch. Anything. Just picture putting out a product and selling 22 million units of it in 3 months. That is, the old GIF of like the Wii and the DS, like it prints money and it's like Iwata and Miyamoto and like the money's just coming in there all like happy. Like that's Animal Crossing right now. It prints money. It is legit making so much for them, and it is perfect for this time of everything going on. And to me, that is the biggest takeaway. But I'm so happy for Nintendo, just doing it and proving people, we're going to continue moving to the beat of our own drum. I just wish they did start to add more power and started looking at the bigger picture, but it's hard for them too. And that's another thing, when the numbers speak. We really like this Animal Crossing. They did a good job with this. It proves. But, if something sells, like I saw a lot of people like, oh my God, we're never getting another 1,000-year door because Origami King is like the fastest selling of the Paper Mario games. Well, they're going to change the battle system. They said that. So for me, that was the worst part of Paper Mario Origami King. So if they're changing the battle system, I'm fine. The rest of it I thought was great. So it's just one of those things where they're on fire. Yeah. They're absolutely on fire.
Right. And even without any new announcements, they're still on fire.
That's the kicker. We haven't had a real direct since that mini one in, what was it,
Yeah.
April? March,
Mhm.
April? And then that was the last real. I mean, we had the third-party direct, the
Right.
8-minute direct, if you want to count that. We really haven't heard anything from them.
Yeah.
They've dropped Paper Mario and Pikmin 3 as shadow drops in terms of trailers. That's it.
Yep.
What are they doing? What are their teams doing? We know Retro is looking for somebody for Metroid Prime 4, but we don't know what anyone else is doing.
Maybe they're not doing anything. If I was them, I'm like, maybe it's time to just relax for a bit. Everybody's on vacation. We're selling 22 million copies of Animal Crossing. We can afford to take a break for a while. What's that?
Smash gave us Min. They're still doing something.
There you go, for sure.
And
Actually, my Echo thought I was talking to her. Yeah, and I think it's interesting too that even with the Paper Mario stuff, this has now become the fastest selling Paper Mario game. And I didn't realize that Super Paper Mario was actually the previous fastest selling one. I guess it makes sense because it was on the Wii. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. What's that?
Last one was Wii U. Color Splash was on the Wii U.
I know, but Super Paper Mario was on Wii, and that was the previous fastest selling Paper Mario game. Yeah, and so now it's Paper Mario, the Origami King. Partially because it's a great game, but partially, COVID, people are looking for good stuff to play. So yeah, I think if they just keep popping stuff out, and they'll keep making money like crazy. But right now they need to get their hardware up because people want a Switch, but they can't buy it. So just imagine if they actually were readily available, they'd be, I don't know. I'm interested to see. Barry, do you think that the Switch is ever going to catch up with the Wii sales, or is that a no-go? There's no way it could happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, as long as things keep going, I think it will. It really depends on how quickly they're going to move to a Switch 2. And because of COVID, I think the Switch 2 is going to be delayed. And because of that, I think it will absolutely catch up. I mean, the Wii is Nintendo's #1 highest selling console, but the PS2, even the PS4 has beaten it at this point. So, absolutely. The Switch, you look at the Switch, right? The Switch is 62+ million in 3 years or 3.5 years, right? The PS4 broke 100 million not too long ago, and that's 7 years. So if the PS4, which is a fantastic system with a great library, breaks 100 million in 7 years, the Switch in half that time is sitting at 62. That means the Switch is on pace, given that, to do 120 million. And that's phenomenal.
That's true. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to see if they cannibalize themselves with their next product, or if that will only. And it probably depends on how they do it. But I wonder, because there's potential there of it having lasting power and continuing to go up in sales, but they could end up, maybe if they do, I feel like if they release a certain kind of a system, it may cut the sales off because people are jumping ahead instead.
If they release a Switch 2, make it significantly more powerful, a little bit more expensive, really to compete, but the keyword is they make it backwards compatible. At the same time, they drop the price of the Switch to $199, or they just drop the Switch entirely and just make the Switch Lite, make it $149 or whatever, and keep that around. Still continue to make Switch games because it's playable on both. Push their mainline games to the hardcore Switch 2. I think they can extend the life of the Switch that way. And then afterwards, when a family upgrades, it's not like, oh, well, now my library's gone. The entire library goes over with them.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Still, the Switch Lite is a portable.
Right, right. It'd be great for sure. Yeah, I'm just interested to see. Yeah, because they normally don't do stuff like that, but maybe they're learning. Maybe.
Well, they usually have a handheld and a console in the marketplace at the same time.
Sure.
This is the first time they don't. So they could revert the Switch to the handheld only and put the Switch 2 to a new hybrid as a console, and just go with that.
Which may actually say that the Switch Lite is possibly the one that's going to have the lasting power, because the Switch Pro or Switch 2 is going to continue on that direction, but the Switch Lite is probably going to keep living on, and that might be the one that keeps increasing sales over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to the chat. I'm glad that we're solving all Nintendo's problems and figuring out their future. They should listen to us.
They should.
And hire Jared while you're at it. He knows how to run a Nintendo Direct. Speaking of that, he's saying they save all their direct production money and still make bank. Yeah, they're just totally hoarding money, but they could, as he says, use some of that extra money to put toward Nintendo World, which I totally agree. And thank you so much, Jared, for that transition, because we've actually gotten more information about Super Nintendo World. Unfortunately, like we mentioned on the last podcast, the one in Florida has been delayed, and so eventually we'll get to go to the one in Japan, but probably not in America for a long time. Yeah, one of those, the project app developer behind Nintendo World actually posted some videos of his app on Vimeo, and wouldn't you know it, people found it. And they posted a lot of stuff out there. I'm going to show you a quick, for those of you guys that are watching the video version, you'll see there was at TV Maniaco _TV PS2 had all the stuff, but as you can see on the screen, they've been pulled right now because copyright. But it's still swirling out there, I'll just say. And so if you want it, you could find it for sure. But there's a lot of really cool stuff about some things that we've never before seen before, seeing how the app interacts with the attractions and all that sort of thing. There's really not a whole lot of news here, but just a quick, morning, and type F in the chat for the Super Nintendo World Orlando, at least for now. Yeah, Barry, did you get a chance to actually see any of these before they were taken down?
I did not. Okay. I wish I did.
They're still out there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're absolutely still out there. I also don't want to be like, I don't like the surprise ruined a lot of times. Like, I'm not a fan of leaks. I hate leaks. A lot of times it gets my hopes up, and then some of them are fake leaks and it doesn't come true. So I didn't really go looking, especially considering that the one in Florida, which is the one I would go to, is on indefinite delay. And yeah, so I didn't really go hunting for what's going on in Japan. Right now, we can't even fly to Japan if we want to. They're not taking us.
Wah, wah, wah. We need that sad trombone sound. I need to add that to our list. Yeah, I don't know. I hope... Yeah, again, we've talked about this many times, but I really hope that we get to eventually, sometime in our lifetime, get to experience Super Nintendo World for sure, because it looks cool. And I won't go into it just in case there's some other people that don't like leaks as well. But if you want to find it, go searching. You will find it, and we'll just say it will make it even sadder that we're not having it in America for any time soon. I'll just say that. But that's the rundown of the news for the last couple weeks. Before we jump into what's coming up over the next couple weeks, games and what we're looking forward to and all that sort of thing, we just want to remind you guys to join us on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're just at NintendoFuse, so you can easily find us on there. And then you can also join us on Discord. We would love to have you guys join our Discord to be able to just connect in between shows. We love talking about games, even during the about called that the Nindy Direct. We haven't had one of those in a while. The Indie World Showcase today. We have an events channel that was just lighting up as soon as it started. It was a really cool conversation just around all that and the games we're excited about. And then there's a bunch of places just to get connected to our community. So if you haven't joined our Discord, be sure to do that. That'd be awesome. You can see the link on the screen there, but it's also in our show notes and the description down below. Yeah, Barry, let's look forward to the next couple weeks. We've talked about several of these games because they were announced today. In fact, several of these games came out today. So there's a lot on there that we've already discussed that we're excited about. But as you guys are seeing, they're scrolling on the screen right now for video viewers. My Universe, My Baby, just reminding you again, $29.99 came out today. Anything that you're really looking forward to, Barry, as this coming out the next couple weeks? Or are you going to be maybe catching up on some of these indie games?
I mean, I'd love to, jump into Raji, and I might steal my wife's Switch when she's not looking. At least give it a try. But, since a lot of them are digital, I'm not going to be touching them. I'm mainly looking forward to just finishing Cat Quest 2, and from there, I don't know. Like I don't really know what Nintendo's plans are, so because of that, I might sink it myself into another series that I haven't really touched. And there's a couple things that I've been thinking about doing. I've mentioned Yakuza, which is a big series. I might even do the Uncharted series. I haven't done that, which is some people might find shocking. Just really looking forward to something that I haven't played and something that I probably should be playing. Or I might give Color X Malice another shot. It really depends on what I'm feeling. I want games right now that I can finish pretty quickly. That Okana I see on the screen now. That one looks interesting. That's this Friday. Might give that a shot. I don't know. It's gonna be Pablo Geek. I mean, if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to tell me what to play so I can look at and go no or yeah. Oh yeah, Jared just posted Crab Fight. Crab Fight comes out
September. I can't remember the date, but yeah.
It comes out though this week in Japan. So I might be getting that because it's not getting a physical in America, so I'm getting the Japanese one, which is in English. So I might actually mess around with some Fight Crab.
That game. It still makes me laugh when they showed it off. I think, I probably actually say the same, Barry. I think once, I've been playing a lot of, Animal Crossing and Rocket League, which keeps me going with those like little quick bites. But after finishing Torna, it would be like, I know you're encouraging me to play Xenoblade 2. It's probably not going to be something I'm going to jump in right away because I'm looking for some of those quick, like, I want to knock it out. I want a good experience, but I want to be able to knock it out in just a few hours instead of sinking myself into, a 60, 70, 80 hour game. Because I'd like to be able to play several games.
Nexomon is like a Pokemon type game. I've heard some pretty good things about that. But yeah, I'll definitely be playing some more Super Blood Hockey this week, not only for the playcast, but that's just a fun game. Nice. I've been having fun.
Speaking of Pokemon, I need to go back and actually finish that game because I haven't even experienced anything beyond, I think, the second gym because I got lost in the wild area and just had a lot of fun there, and then kind of forgot about Pokemon for a while. But let's see. Let's go to the chat. Looks like Jared's looking forward to Fight Crab, like you said. Jakester's going to just keep doing Fate and Tetris 99, which I believe we're right in the middle of a big Tetris competition. I forget what they call the Maximus Cup, I think is what they're called. It's like a 3 or 4 week one that they're put a lot of the old stuff that you could have won before, so you can actually win it again. Jakester's just saying skip his team. Like, just skip Pokemon altogether. Jared's going to be going back to Animal Crossing, Pokemon Go, Smash, and honestly up for some more Boomerang Foo. I can't want to call it Bangarang because in Hook Bangarang. Yeah. But Jakester's saying just skip Pokemon. He just wants me to probably go on to Xenoblade as well.
I don't think Pokemon is worth skipping. Jakester absolutely hates it, but I do say skip it if Xenoblade 2 is the other option.
Well, I have Pokemon already. I don't have Xenoblade 2, so
yeah, Xenoblade is much better.
Oh man, it's been great to talk with you guys. I thank you guys so much for jumping in the chat and talking with us. Hiwata says, "Isn't there a Splatfest coming up?" Yeah, I think there is, and there's like a free a demo, I think, so you can get back into Splatoon 2 if that's not. If that's not out yet, it should be really soon. I think you get like a free play weekend or something like that alongside the Splatfest. So, yeah, I forget about Splatoon 2. I like it so much, and it's one of those games that I forget about. So I'm glad that there's some stuff still going on around that. But and Jake's just saying don't listen to Barry. So yeah, there. If you're into Splatoon 2, or maybe you forgot about it like me, you can go check out the Splatfest and compete with other people on that. But thank you guys so much again for joining in the chat room tonight. It's been a blast just to see everybody throw in their ideas and their opinions and comments and everything else throughout the night. If you are listening to this after the fact or watching it after the fact, we'd still love to hear from you. So hit us up on social media, hit us up on our Discord, share your thoughts and everything, leave a comment here on YouTube, and of course, be sure to subscribe. If you haven't done that yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video on YouTube if you like it, and share this with other Nintendo fans out there. We would love to just kind of keep broadening our community, and yeah, we would love to have more people on board. So if you know a Nintendo fan or any really video game fan in your life, be sure to share the NintendoFuse podcast with them. That'd be awesome. And Hassan is saying, yes, we do need to have Hassan on because he got the Lego Mario sets, and I believe he got the NES set as well. So we may have like just a special edition or something like that where Hassan comes on and does a show and tell with his Lego. That'd be awesome. So he built the starter course and the NES, still got a bunch left sets, so that would be awesome. So maybe by the next episode, we're going to have the next episode on September 1st, 2020. We're almost into September already. But yeah, maybe Hassan will be on the next episode, or maybe we'll just throw a special edition thing up, who knows. But at least by a couple weeks, we'll have Hassan on, and he can show us all his Lego Mario and Lego NES stuff. But yeah. Barry, anything to say before we wrap up tonight?
Yeah, I want to quickly say that, first off, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody for watching and joining us live or listening after the fact. Very much appreciate you. I do want to say that I will be not only on the Playcast, as I usually am on Fridays, because we're back. So we record usually Fridays, and our next game is Super Blood Hockey. So do look forward to that. But also on the 24th, which is on next Monday, I will actually be a guest on the We the Gamercast. So look forward to that too. I will definitely post links. If you're not tired of listening to me, you can find me there. And yeah, just keep it real. Have a good night, and thank you again for everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, like Barry said, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time, again, September 1st. But keep it tuned to all our social media, Discord, YouTube channel, and everything for things in between. But we'll be back here on September 1st. Happy gaming, everybody.